very interesting topic, but I'm going to let you present the topic.
Okie dokes. So what's very interesting about this is people often think that detachment means I don't love, I don't care, you're not important, you're aloof, you're an island. That's not what this means. So detachment means you are secure enough within yourself that you are not being reactive to various things. And it's about taking your own power back, and it's about not living in fear. And I'm sure there's many situations. We're going to go through 6 different points, but I'm sure there's many different situations or many different times in your life where certain things have controlled you. And if you're going to be completely honest with yourself, you'll look at it and go, yeah, okay, I didn't actually do what I wanted to do because I was in fear. And, you know, when we come from fear, that's not coming from a place of power. Yes. So the power of detachment, the first tip around detachment is to not be attached to material goods. That's not to say that you don't want to, you know, have a nice home and you know, have nice things. It's not to say that, but it's when those things start owning you and controlling you, and you just get so consumed, you want to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, make as much money as you can, buy as much stuff as you can. That is when you're too attached to stuff, and it starts making you feel very depressed and lonely and horrible.
No, it is. And that's the thing. Like, we always need to remind ourselves, it's only a material. So why we are detaching ourselves to things like that, you know, that's not the purpose. Like, you know, find other stuff to detach, like more like healthy stuff that you can do, things that, you know, have much more meaning for yourself as well.
Yeah.
The second one is actually, and I like it, it's the detachment in a relationship. Because a lot of time, you know, we take everything on us. Like, he didn't answer my message, so I've done something, right? Like, it's always like you're looking like things personally, like everything is around us. We actually forget that there's another person. There's more things in life. It's not like as we wanted to. Or when we also seek for validation all the time, right? Like, to know, are we in the right place? Are we with the right person? Are we doing right? You know, just separate these things. You know, a lot of time, like when you start a relationship, we're forgetting that there's another person in the story. There's someone else. Not everything is evolving us. We need to learn how to detach ourselves from it and look from it a bit from the outside and not just see ourselves in it. Because I think that's where the part we are also bringing bad communication. And whatever relationship, it's not only between him and her, or like, you know, like that type of relationship. It's also going to be with people from, you know, family, like friends, that a lot of the time we are in a certain situation that we just see ourselves instead of actually coming from the outside to the picture and see the truth.
Yeah, I think it becomes often very controlling as opposed to growing with somebody, you know, so you are allowed to be who you want to be. They are allowed to be who they want to be. And it's about being okay with uncertainty, because that life is full of uncertainty. There is no guarantees in anything in life. So if you are continuously searching for that certainty, I think it causes a lot of anxiety. I mean, I know I've been in that situation before, and it causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. Whereas if you just let it go and just go with the flow of it, which I know you love, it's your thing. But if you go with the flow, then it does. I think it just makes a big difference, and not trying to control somebody, but let them just be the best version of themselves. Yes. The next one, which I think is very powerful, is around experiences. So what is very interesting is we have a bad experience, and then we take that into, so I'm going to share a little experience that I had. So I went to get my car license, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. I was in the queue for, I think, 2.5, 3 hours. I get to the front, and then they close the doors because they say, sorry, there's a corona breakout, so you must leave. So I was like, oh, okay, that was a lovely way to spend my day, or my morning. Anyway, so it took me about 3 weeks to come back, because that past experience was not pleasant. But I thought, I've got to do it. So I go back yesterday. I was there. This is not an exaggeration. I was there for 6 hours. So I went in with a clean slate. But when I was there for 6 hours, during that time, I made a friend. We've become friends on Facebook, so we become friends, if they can call it that. I got a free coffee because I didn't have cash. So the lady said, we'll just have a free coffee. I lost my face mask in the wind. Some guy ran after me and gave me my mask. So actually, the experience now was quite a good one. In a weird way. So yeah, I think just be mindful. Don't take your old baggage into new experiences.
And you know what? And that's the thing. Like we, a lot of the time, and we experience one thing. And by the way, that's a great tip as well. Like, you know, when you look at your business, right, and you're trying to build yourself as a brand, the thing about it from their perspective, from your consumers' perspective, your customers, your clients, how you can actually give them a good experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can actually go with us and not only come back for more of your service or your product, but also be your best brand ambassadors. But also it's for us to learn, really, like you said, like not to, you know, take one experience from one situation and implicate it to the rest. You know, everything is standalone. Like it's different people. You're in a different mood. There's so many like things around it.
In the same way with that, if somebody gives you a bad review, so they have a bad experience, and you're able to rectify that and come back from that and own it and take responsibility and apologize and do whatever need be, that doesn't mean that you need to think going forward any less of yourself. You're human. You make mistakes and things happen, and that's okay. You know, we're allowed to make mistakes. We're human. Yeah.
But we're making mistakes, and you know what? It's the same conversation I find myself repeating over and over again. And maybe that can be also a topic for us. That, you know, people have negative interpretations to different words like change, challenge, mistake, failure. Don't look at it in the negative side. You know, I look at the word from a positive way. If I failed now, I actually learned, like I'm grateful for this because I'm learning something. I'm moving forward. You know, and I always give the example of a kid, right? Like of a baby. When he starts walking, like he keep on going up and falling, but he keep on trying until it's a success. If he would have given up on the first attempt, on second or third, we're not necessarily going to be able as like human being. Maybe some of us will be able to walk and some not. So that's how it's going to impact. But no, we need to look at it from the positive side. And that's why I really like this topic, because it's also like, detach yourself for a second. Look at things from the outside. If you think about it, then you realize that's actually not that bad as you were thinking. You maybe don't need to react as you wanted. And I look at the next one, which is detachment from work, you know, because you don't need all the time to define, you know, what's your worth as like on your personal side. You don't always like, and I can say, and I'll share from my personal side, that I had a certain time in my life that I used to ask for validation all the time. And one day my boss came to me and said, like, why are you always looking for validations? Why are you always look for someone to give you a good word about, like, oh, you've done this. Oh, wow, amazing. And then she got me to think, like, why do I actually really do it? I didn't even notice that I was doing it until she pointed it out. And then I put a stop for a second, and then I thought about it. I realized, where does it come from? And I fixed it. And I started reducing it more and more and more, that today I'm not in that place. Like, I know who am I know what I'm worth. You take it or leave it. That's up to you. And that's it. But it's like, until someone didn't point it out. So detach yourself from this. It's not going to help you.
But it is also, and I agree with you. I had this discussion yesterday with Andrew, who's our operations director at Say Yes. And we had this discussion today, and he said kind of exact same thing. And I said, no, I agree. But there's something really lovely. We have a weekly check-in meeting on a Monday, and there's something very, very, very nice when there is some kind of acknowledgement of the stuff that has been done, and it's not just an hour of like, you know. So
no, that's something else. So I can share. And for those of you who actually works in a companies, or like have a team of more than like let's say even like 2-3 people, one of the things we used to do on our meetings is to start the meeting with a storytelling. And a storytelling on like something that happened this week, for example, that was amazing, that, you know, we want to share, or something that wasn't that good, but you want to share so others can learn. And in the storytelling as well, you can share, you know, a feedback of something that happened, of you seen that someone. So we, for example, one of the sellers would say, I will say, for example, I went with this seller to like a meeting, and the way he handled it, like, and I give a compliment, but I give it from the side of a storytelling. So you can do it as well, but it's not the same as like that you are detached to the sides of like, give me compliments, give me something, give me this.
Oh yeah, no.
And that's the two different things, like, you know, how to
Yeah.
separate.
So the next one is about obsessive thinking. And I think, you know, life is to be lived and it's not to be overanalyzed. I definitely have I can suffer from this. This is one of the things I can suffer from. You know, we all have other things. It's definitely something I can overanalyze. There's no question about it. And I've definitely found ways, especially in the last year, just to be more in the present moment and to think less more about analyzing and reanalyzing and overthinking and obsessing and going backwards and forwards and just going, okay, this is where I am right now. This is what's happening right now. And yeah, so to not think too much. Thinking can be paralyzing, I think. Yeah.
And by the way, we do have videos. We can find them here on both of our pages, Chief One Degree and Big Data Consulting. We did spoke about overthinking because I know that that's one of my weaknesses, overthinking. But and it is, you know, it's not really helping you much to, you know, like you find yourself telling yourself a story. And then I love it that I used to like say something to myself in my overthinking, and then I will build my own story. I'll create like something that is sometimes even very far from reality. So
yeah.
So not, and it actually really linked to the next one, which is the detachment of from sense of time. And a lot of what we don't really get is that we either live in the past or in the future, but we forget the present.
Mm-hmm.
And like we started in the beginning and say, you know, like we cannot control a lot of things in life. You know, things are happening. Like this COVID-19, it happened. You know, no one really knows. Some countries going back to lockdown. No one knows. No one can promise you nothing. No one can guarantee you anything. But stop worrying about things that happen there or there. Like, you know, think about, okay, now, what I can do now. Yes, still plan for the future. Still have it in the back of your head. But live the moment. Enjoy the now. Like, detach yourself from all this. Like, you know.
You know, what I do think can be a little bit challenging, though, with that particular point is we are taught from, I don't know about this generation, but definitely from my generation, we were taught from a very young age, plan for your future, think about for your future, make sure you make, you know, financially, whatever, but just make all these plans for the future. So in a lot of ways, we were kind of geared towards living for the future. So in the defense of a lot of us, it's now that we're so wired that way. We've now had to unwire that thinking, go, yes, absolutely, you know, save for the future and do certain things, but now be in the present. And it can sometimes be a bit of a contradiction. And I think that's where a lot of people do suffer. You know, there's a little bit of a challenge with that, to be present totally, but in certain areas you do need to plan. So do you know what I mean?
I think it's also like finding a balance because yes, like, you know, if I look at myself as someone that decided to take my business and to do it in this country, then I've planned myself right. Like I did enjoy the moment. I was traveling during that time that I was doing whatever I wanted, but I still tried to save much so I can, you know, afford myself certain stuff after. So it's always like, even in now and what I'm doing now, always bear in mind, I'm investing in my future as well, but I'm not focusing on like so many small details. Like I'm planning, like I'm now today, okay? What I can do today to make myself happy, what I can do today to impact my clients, what I can do today, you know, to take care of myself. But it doesn't mean that like someone says, well, let's say I'll look it from a different example. Like I do yoga 5 days a week, and I also do my tutorials to become a yoga teacher. So I do it, and I live the present, right? I do it for myself for now because I enjoy it. But I'm also building myself for the future because when I look at my teacher, I also want to be like her in her age, like to be very healthy, be very flexible, be able to do handstand and stuff like this. So it is a mix of like me living here now and doing it now for myself. Because when I do the class, I do it now and I do it for myself to feel good with myself. But I also invest in my future. And I think that's the balance people need to find in their activities. Do stuff that are good for you. good for your business, good for you as a person, good for your relationships with partners, family, whatever, but also do things that you know that you can benefit ahead of as well.
Yeah, and stuff that's not causing you anxiety or putting pressure on you or you know, so the things that you're thinking about the future are not adding to your anxiety and stress, but it's just being mindful and not being irresponsible by knowing that you do have to make provisions and you do need to plan. So yeah, so that's about the power of detachment.
It is. And before we're going to sum it all up, and for those of you who've joined just now, we first want to say, you know, we do every Tuesday, we speak about marketing, and every Friday on personal development. If you got topics that you want us to speak about, please share with us. You can either put it in the comments or even send us as a private message. We're always there. If you got questions, you're not sure, reach out to us. We'll try our best to help you. And also, if you want to do with us like a case study and, you know, come up with us live, or if you afraid of the camera and you're not sure, you can also send it in details and tell us, okay, I'm struggling in my business like this. I'm struggling on my personal side like this. Please guide me, and we'll speak on your problem live without even mentioning names. So it can also be anonymous. So feel free for that as well. So are we going to sum it all up?
Yeah. So the first one is detachment from material goods.
The second one is detachment in relationship. Not everything is involving you.
And the third one is about detaching from past experiences, as in obviously negative ones.
Yes. And the next one is detachment from work.
And not to overthink, to be more in the present.
Yes. And just don't think about the time. Live now, in the present. No one promised you what's going to happen tomorrow or in a week from now. And I think we all experience this with COVID. So do it like this. And I love these topics because it is, you know, we give so much weight on the scale for so many things that are so not important necessarily. That if you look at this in 5 years from now, even like in a year from now or in a month, we're like, really? Seriously?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Energies on this.
Yeah.
So don't do it to yourself.
And just be happy with living in uncertainty. You know, that's something that I really, really, really something that I'm kind of working towards. I'm very, very mindful of that. So just living comfortably with uncertainty, because you actually don't know anyway. You don't know. So just go with it. Yeah. So thank you.
It is, and really, just reach out to us. We're here to help, and share with us, please. Also, what are your, and I'm writing it down, what are your takeaways from this video? What are you going to start like implementing? What are you thinking that you're lacking? So share it with us. What are your takeaways from this video? We would like to know, we would like to see, and to actually know that, you know, you can even disagree with us, by the way. We're all good with this.
Yeah, we don't mind. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to wish you a happy weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. We're going to speak about marketing. So follow up on Shift 1 Degree and Big Data Consulting to see what are the next topics.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.